Greetings, Gens fans, and welcome to this week's Gens Weekly Recap. I'm your host and the voice of the Northeast Generals, Matt Sosler. It was a busy weekend for the Generals hockey team, so let's take a look at what happened over the past week. The NAHL Generals headed up north to open their campaign against the Nordiques up in Maine. Here's what went down during that two-game set. In Game 1 last Friday, the Generals struck first, but a strong offensive showing for the Nordiques led them to a 6-2 victory in the season opener. Liam McCanny had the first goal of the NAHL season off of a stretch pass from J.R. Perdion. Andy Stoneman added a power play tally in the third period off of a Dylan Schuett faceoff, and Joey Sinise made 41 saves. Liam McCanny's goal was the first goal across the entire NAHL for the 2020-21 season. Joey Sinise eclipsed 40 saves in the regulation finish for the first time in his NAHL career. And looking again at the arithmetic, Andy Stoneman had a goal, Liam McCanny with a goal, Dylan Schuett, J.R. Perdion, and Adam Smith each had an assist, and Joey Sinise with 41 saves. The very next night, the Generals were without assistant captain Tyler Cooper and wing Kyle Schroeder due to injury as they looked to salvage a series split up in Maine during the opening weekend of play. However, Maine picked up right where they left off. They scored 3 goals in the first period. Needing to flip the script, the Generals were able to put up 2 in the second. The first came from Jonathan Young early in the frame. Eric Fox followed just 3 minutes later with one of his own. However, both teams' offenses would not get on the board again as Maine would walk away with the 3-2 victory. And now look at some of the numbers. The Generals were perfect on the penalty kill. They were 5 for 5. Jonathan Young had a goal. Eric Fox again with a goal. Dylan Schuett had an assist, his second on the season. Andy Stoneman, Sasha Tutizny, and Ricky Boyson each had 1 assist, and Hugo Haas had 38 saves. The NA3HL Generals were also in action last week as they looked to build off their dominant win from the week before versus Danbury as they had a rematch versus the Hattricks. It was an offensive battle, however, the Generals would fall to the Hattricks 7-6. The Generals struck first with Matthew Coe's first of 2 goals. Danbury would quickly even it up at 1 apiece. Then Peyton Felix would score for the Generals with seconds remaining in the first. In the second period, Danbury would even the score, and with the score all even at 3 after a couple more goals, the Generals would score 3 unanswered goals to make it 6-3. Danbury would score to make it 6-4, heading into the final frame where the Hattricks would score 3 goals to pull off the comeback versus the Generals. A look at some of the numbers: Matthew Coe and Drew Schemmel with 2 goals. Jacob Kaczynski and Peyton Felix each with a goal apiece. Jackson Lynch, Jacob Kaminsky, and Tyler Tompkins each with 2 assists. The Generals sit 2 points behind Bay State in the East Division. They also lead the East Division in goals scored and goal differential. Now a look to the week ahead. The NAHL Generals will have their home opener against the Danbury Junior Hattricks this Friday. The Hattricks and the Generals split their preseason series last month. The Danbury Junior Hattricks were also able to salvage a split last weekend in their opening weekend series versus New Jersey. The NA3AHL Generals will also have their home opener. That game will be against Bay State. Puck drop for that game is at 11 a.m. Eastern. The NAHL team will have their puck drop at noon. You can catch both those games live on Hockey TV. That's going to wrap up this edition of the Gens Weekly Recap. For everyone here at the Northeast Generals, I'm Matt Sosler. Thank you for listening to this Gens Weekly Recap.